Think so.
What letter is this?
Q.
Q. This is indeed a Q.
All right, welcome to the Patriot Hour for Tuesday, December 18th, 2018, folks. Got a few things we're going to go over here. Some new emails from the Hillary Clinton server were turned over today. Unbelievable. All kinds of classified, secret stuff to do with the CIA agents that were killed by Al-Qaeda, just all kinds of crap. This isn't the yoga emails and birthday parties and stuff. This is all that was on there. This is unbelievable. So before we get into that, we had Michael Flynn today. That didn't go too well either. That got delayed. And folks, it's just not looking good on the MSN version of it is even this judge today, all right? So the federal judge delays Michael Flynn's sentencing after the plea for lying to the feds. So the federal judge that was sentencing former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn on Tuesday after he pleaded guilty to lying to investigators about his talks with a Russia ambassador. U.S. District Judge Emmett Sullivan said he has significant outstanding questions about the case, including how the government's Russia investigation was impeded and the material impact of Flynn's lies on the special counsel's inquiry. Flynn had spent more than a year giving what prosecutors called all the cooperation they've ever wanted, including in 62 hours of meetings and production of a sweeping categories of documents and electronic devices. In light of the accommodations, the Justice Department had told the judge ahead of Tuesday's hearing that it would be all right if Flynn received no prison time. So we kind of got to remember, this is like Comey when he came on TV and said, I don't think Hillary should do anything because the FBI doesn't headhunt cases. They do all their investigative ends of investigating, and then they turn stuff over to the DOJ, who decides to move forward with charges. They have all the lawyers and whatnot over there. And if you remember, Loretta Lynch, a week ahead of anything, was like, well, whatever the FBI's recommendation is, we'll take. Now, here's the FBI or a special counsel's recommendation to a judge. And he's like, I don't care about that, because that's what he says. The judge says, I don't have to listen to anybody. I'll do what I want. But he called it borderline treasonous, what Flynn did. And it's just like, wow. So if, lobbying, they talked about he had called the Turkey lobbying. General Flynn held nothing back. So Sullivan entered the courtroom with what he said was a number of concerns that called into question of the guilty plea, or at the very least, Flynn's acceptance of the responsibility. The judge repeatedly asked Flynn and his lawyers whether they wanted to recess to confer about legal issues and the prospect of a delay until full cooperation with authorities could be assessed. Sullivan also stressed Flynn's service in the military and at the White House, where his false statements were made. This was a high-ranking senior official of the administration making false statements to federal agents while on the premise of the White House. I'm not hiding my disgust, my disdain, or my criminal offense, he added. At another point, the judge asked prosecutors Brandon Van Grock whether Flynn's conduct may have amounted to treason, and also suggested that Flynn may have been acting as a foreign agent during his 24 days in the Trump's White House. Van Grack responded that Flynn's undeclared lobbying work for Turkey ended before his stint in the White House, and that the government has no reason to believe that the defendant has committed treason. The judge later said he was merely asking the questions, not drawing any conclusions. So this guy, before he worked, he wasn't registered, we're talking about Flynn, to do any kind of lobbying. Now you're going to tell me out of all the stuff with the Clintons and working and then getting money that that's not skeptical. You don't have questions of treason on that, or it just hasn't been brought in front of anybody to even get to that point. I'm not trying to bring up that versus this. This is its own case, but folks, it's just unbelievable. So anyway, they're going to be meeting back up in March, I believe. That's what got delayed till. And that's they're going to, finish up any work that Flynn is doing with the government still. So they have, that's what they kind of pushed it off to. So not really exactly what we thought on that hearing today, folks. Come to find out, this judge was appointed by Clinton in the 90s. Not that he works for him or anything. It's just that came up in this article too that I read. Unbelievable. All right, so then in other news here is we got Tom Fenton from Judicial Watch. He does good work. He's a president over there. We got to listen to this article here, or this little video. It's a couple minutes.
Washington comes to talk. Coming up this morning, Mark Krikorian. Talk about immigration with him at 8:05. And at 8:35, Sagar Enjeti, White House correspondent for the Daily Caller. President traveling around the country, also handling a big storm that just hit Florida. It's moving our way. We'll get into all the details straight ahead. I'm Vince Colonnese alongside Mary Walter.
Good morning, and joining us in studio, Tom Fenton, president of Judicial Watch. Tom, great to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
Appreciate you joining us. So, Judicial Watch, once again, I see these headlines and I think, oh, I have to check. This must be an old story because Judicial Watch uncovered more of Hillary's emails, and that can't possibly be a news story because they've got them all already. But you keep getting these emails from Hillary Clinton's, from her server that have either previously been not turned over or that were classified. You're finding all sorts of things. How many emails did you get this time, and what did you find in them?
We got a bunch of emails, about 288 pages of additional emails, and we've been getting them in dribs and drabs. And as you noted, these are the emails that were about yoga, the ones that she didn't turn over to the State Department, the 33,000 deleted emails that the FBI magically was able to either recover by undeleting the material or finding them elsewhere. And they include classified information about Northern Ireland. They include sensitive information about CIA operations in Afghanistan. They show Sidney Blumenthal, who is kind of a shady character associated with the Clinton world, who was so bad the Obama White House didn't want him working at the State Department, nevertheless was secretly advising Hillary Clinton, including sending her classified information because we couldn't get the information because it's classified in email she sent us, or the State Department sent to us. And on top of that, you also have Bill Clinton writing her speeches as well, or helping draft her speeches. So it was all hands on deck for Hillary Clinton. And, you know, these emails show classified information generally. Prior information we've received show the interplay of the Clinton Foundation getting favors for donors and others through the State Department. And you got to wonder why it is this Justice Department is still sitting on this issue, at least legally, in terms of not prosecuting her. We got evidence after evidence, pieces of evidence showing that she mishandled her classified information on her server, and no prosecution.
I mean, she would have had to be a pretty incompetent Secretary of State to be incapable of determining that classified information was being mishandled on her private email server. I mean, she'd have to be practically brain dead to not realize that. And that's why it was so weird when James Comey came out, forgave all the behavior, of course, and subsequently you say you've not even received any inkling or any hint that prosecutors are taking a serious look at the way this was handled.
You know, that's to me the big question. I don't understand why the media doesn't pursue this. Is what is Jeff Sessions and Director Wray's position on what Comey and Lynch did in terms of not prosecuting Hillary Clinton? And they agree that the law could be upended the way they did and no prosecutions occur. Are they going to prosecute her, or do they agree with Comey's lawless approach, giving her a get-out-of-jail-free card? Complete silence. And to me, in this case, silence means complicity.
But Cheryl Mills is mentioned in this. Some of these emails went back and forth with Cheryl Mills. But wasn't Cheryl Mills given immunity? Was Lynch given immunity? I mean, I know the FBI was handing out, the DOJ under Obama was handing out immunity to pretty much all the players in this email saga, except for Hillary. I don't think she got immunity in anything. So why not go forward with this? Because everybody's got immunity.
Well, I don't think they were given immunity in the general sense that you may believe, Mary. I think it was limited immunity for particular testimonies. But if Cheryl Mills and Yuma Abedin also knew and approved of, and of course, you know, Abedin had an email system on this server which also had classified information on it, that classified information was being mishandled in this way, they may have liability as well, so they don't have immunity. And that's one of the reasons I think they don't want to move against Hillary Clinton, because there are a lot of other people they'd have to move against over this extreme mishandling of classified information. Remember, dozens of emails, dozens of pieces of information, including, we already know, 20 plus emails that include the highest levels of classification were present on this server. And she had an obligation personally to make sure this was done. She had what is called original classification authority. So you are supposed to be able to analyze immediately what comes in and out and classify it and protect it or otherwise. And the email shows she didn't give a rat's tail about that when warned about it.
And she has senior staff who are moving information from classified environments into unclassified environments and communicating it with her on, again, a private server, which seemed pretty susceptible to cyber attack. I know you're battling the government actively. I mean, it's not just getting these documents out yesterday. You have court hearings, today and tomorrow? What's going on here?
Yeah, 2 Clinton email court hearings. One today on this effort to get all of these emails. The government hasn't turned them all over to us, the State Department. There's information that's withheld. We may have to fight to get that additional information out of them. For instance, what were her communications with Barack Obama? I don't think we've seen any of that. And then tomorrow we have a case in our Benghazi investigation, which has been impacted by this because Hillary's emails. We're asking for her testimony.
So there you have it, folks. Same old crap. So just showed you a case of a 33-year military, high-ranking, served his country. Now, that doesn't excuse you from crimes after your service. It doesn't make you a saint for the rest of your life. It's just, look at the effery. I mean, you got a guy that possibly lied. That's a process crime in the FBI's eyes. You don't talk to somebody to hope to get a process crime, and that's the only thing you end up getting is a process crime. Like, oh, we just pulled this guy in off the street, we talked to him and he lied to us, and now we got him, dead to rights. And then you got that kind of stuff going on where because they were using that on Flynn, the mainstream, that, oh, he's in the intelligence communities all these years in the military, he should know that, the FBI and how they operate, and you don't need a lawyer and you shouldn't lie. And they just attack every little bit of the story and act like it's all good and to go. Well, with Hillary, same thing. She's been around secret. She was married to the president in the early 90s, through the 90s. There alone, she would have had secret, clearance protocol of how to operate with her husband being the president, and she would have been very, very, very well aware. And then coming into Secretary of State, you have tons of classes. You sign papers to say that you went through this week-long class of how to operate and how to handle classified information. So everything that she did was wrong. It does implicate a lot of other people. That's why she has probably not gone down. But if we look at how this works, the media has gave a lot of attention to Flynn, and it's all over. The whole story's out there. They do not cover this kind of stuff with Hillary. They could do the same thing if the news was fair, and why would you just? That's the clear-cut difference. If there's actual crimes on Trump, look into them. But time and time again, they spin these stories, and then it keeps evolving, and it's always around Trump. That's how you know that they hate him, because they're not reporting on any of these other stories that are huge. They're trying to keep that muffled and keep all the attention on Trump. Even, illegal campaign fraud. He should go down and be impeached for it. Well, that's not an impeachable offense. Obama just had that. I think Bush before him had some campaign issues. So you can see these. Those are civil cases that have fines, and maybe to the extent of what you did with money. But, folks, it's just unbelievable. Unbelievable. So we hope some more light comes on to the Clinton thing, and I believe the people at the highest levels are covering, because it would involve dozens of people to the highest levels of the administration when she was there, which would be Obama and more. They are all emailing her. This Huma Abedin, her aide, all the same crap. We haven't heard nothing about these people. None of them have gone down. None of them gotten probation. None of them are called treasonous traitors by a judge. Just asking. It'd be good to see. And for any of you out there listening in those positions, this is at an all-time insanity. You guys are repeatedly in circles going after Trump. There's nothing there when you have all these true crimes sitting there that you can prosecute and go after. If that's what you're all about, justice and what's right, then why are you ignoring this stuff and looking over here? Go walk over this other way and just pick up all the evidence. Pick it up, gather it up, throw it into a bag, and you got it. Instead of looking for a crime, go take down the ones that already exist. Instead of ignoring them, we'd be a little bit happier. I am really ashamed of all these agencies in the last several years. And that's why we're here. We're trying to fix it. And we'll do what we can, do our small part. If we can get a few people on board to be awake and hear some of this, we are happy. All right, folks, just wanted to give you that little update. I'm Mike. This is a Patriot Hour. God bless, Godspeed to each and every one of you worldwide. We'll see you back here real soon on the next Patriot Hour update. Have a great evening.